planning, and being is that when I put them together, it came out to create Plan B, which is essentially what I did in my life.
That's awesome. I love the wordplay.
Yeah.
I love the wordplay.
It was a total accident. I confession right now, it was a total accident. It was non-intentional.
The Career Challenges Podcast, a collection of stories about overcoming professional hurdles and learning lessons the hard way. Thank you for joining me. I'm your host, Kyle Werkerly, Certified Ghostwriter. This is the Career Challenges Podcast. We're on episode 12, I believe, if I can count right. I was never strong at math, but I'm pretty sure we're on 12. So I would like to introduce Stephanie LaTorre. And Stephanie, you're in Italy right now. Is that correct?
I am. I'm staring at the sea and volcanoes and enjoying a nice, delicious Italian coffee after my fabulous lunch.
There we go. So it's 8 a.m. right now in San Antonio as we're recording this, and it's 3 p.m. there in Italy. Yeah. And where exactly in Italy are you? So
I'm in a small, I'm going to call it a city, but for me, yes. I would never in a million years call it a city. It's a small town called Tropea, which is known as the Coast of the Gods. And it's one of the top-rated beaches in all of Italy. Primarily, if you've ever gone to northern Italy in the summer, you'll notice a complete lack of Italians wandering around. You'll see mostly tourists. Wow. And that is because in August especially, they all come down here. Wow. They're starting to arrive already. So this is one of the number one vacation spots in Italy down here.
Wow. So is that the east or west coast of Italy?
I'm on the west coast of Italy. I'm actually the big toe that's kicking Sicily.
Oh, really?
So I can see the Aeolian Islands above Sicily, and then the main island of Sicily, and of course Mount Etna, it's huge.
Wow, amazing. So you're not originally from Italy, though.
I am not. My father is originally from Italy.
Wow.
My father was born here, and we switched. He moved to the U.S. when he was in his 20s, and in my 20s, I was like, no. Time for me to move to Italy. And so I did.
Awesome. And so what do you do exactly there in Italy?
I have my own company. So I work from home, which is very, very exciting because I get to kind of decide how I get to spend these days that I have in this beautiful, beautiful country. But I do focus primarily on web design and digital marketing. So I have clients from all over the world. I have the joys of running a business and helping my clients out each day and trying to not overwork myself and balance my life with making sure I get some yoga time in at some point during the day.
Yeah.
But yes, I run my own business, and I did work for another company here in Italy for a while, but I had already started my business kind of part-time, and that was one of the tipping factors. That was like, no, I need to work for myself.
Yeah, I understand that. That was one of the motivators for going into ghostwriting for me was like, I want to be doing this for myself.
Yes.
So I know it sounds selfish, but at the same time, it's like, I'd rather be doing that than all the other stuff that other people want me to do.
I think for me, it was, I know I can do more. I know I can contribute in a bigger way. Like, I did not go through all this corporate training, all these years of schooling and getting my education to be, helping run high-end ice cream gelato parlors. Sorry.
Wow. So it's not ice cream officially; it's gelato.
It's gelato. Yes.
It's gelato. Oh.
There's a whole thing about it here in Italy.
True. Just like there's the difference between frozen yogurt and ice cream and
oh, yes. We do have frozen yogurt.
Okay, good.
But that's a separate thing.
Okay, I understand. Well, for the longest time, I thought sherbet and ice cream were the same thing. It was just like a flavoring thing. And so my wife asked me, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? And I said, sherbet, rainbow sherbet. She goes, no, ice cream. I go, sherbet. And that kicked off this long argument. We finally got that settled. I mean, we we worked through it, which was important, and we were able to get engaged and get married. So it didn't, destroy our
It
relationship.
wasn't a deciding factor.
No, it wasn't. But
That's
now
good.
I know it is. Sherbet is a juice based, and then ice cream is dairy based. So that's important to remember that. So you said you had worked for the Trump organization in Bedminster, and
Yes.
where is that exactly?
So Bedminster, New Jersey, that is, Donald Trump has several golf club and private country club properties around the world. Bedminster is one of his most beautiful locations. They have 2 golf courses there. They have the restaurant. I was the dining room manager. So I helped to run, we had several different dining rooms, but I helped to run events and organization for the different organizations that came on. We had different golf tournaments that went on for the members, as well as some the Ladies Golf Professional Association, LGPA.
Yeah.
LPGA, that's it. It's been a while. It's been a while. Bear with me. Yes. And so I handled the day-to-day tasks of making sure that everything was ready for the events. We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner service. And in addition to that, I had obviously a staff to organize and schedules to work with, food orders, kitchens, wonderful, wonderful chefs. Mm-hmm. It was a busy linen orders. Oh, I can remember the linen orders.
Wow.
Always got to make sure you have the right color of tablecloth.
I mean, would it be a disaster if the tablecloths were not exactly the right shade?
It could be, depending on the event and depending on the host. I mean, you got to think when you're running a wedding for somebody. I remember for my wedding, I was very, very specific about the color of the tablecloths that I wanted, and they couldn't get it. So I had to switch to something else.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It was beautiful anyway.
So then how did you go from there to web design?
So web design was a hobby for me. I had always, since I was a kid, my father built computers. So I grew up watching him, with all these different computer parts all over the house. And I got my first computer. Now, keep in mind, this is back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Did you get the Packard Bell? Did you get a Packard Bell?
I did at one point have a Packard Bell. I'm going all the way back to the DOS systems.
Wow.
Like pre-Windows, when all there really was this black and orange spreadsheet. And my mother was an accountant. So I remember watching her play on that all day long, and my father building computers on the other side. And then I got my first computer, which was her old one. Mm-hmm. And I used to play around in that spreadsheet. I don't even know what kind of game a 5-year-old would play in a spreadsheet.
I'm sure they came up with something, though. Color blocks or something.
I don't remember what I was doing. I did like to do math stuff. I always loved the formulas that I could add numbers together. That was always very exciting to me.
Yeah, that's why I like Excel, because then I can create that formula to do the math for me, and I don't have to do it again and again and again. It's a one and done thing. I like that. My
monthly cash flow sheet is dependent on it.
Yeah. I do remember we had a Mac 2 or an Apple II. We had that for the longest time. And then in 1996, we got the Packard Bell, and that was a huge thing in my house. And we got to play on it, and you could get on the internet. If you remember the dial-up, we could do that.
You had to make sure you had the free AOL discs that came in the mail and gave you 500 hours free.
There you go. Yeah. And so we had that until, I want to say, well past the turn of the century. So it was like we got the computers, but we couldn't really get a lot. There wasn't this constant turnover of computers. It was one, and you used that until the thing just died. And then you finally went and got another one.
No, we turned over the computers. It was almost like leasing a car. Like every time, I remember my mom used to lease cars. So every time she would get a new car, it's like everyone would get new computers.
Wow. That's nice.
They didn't cost as much as they do now. But
sure. So the
long story short to that is yes, that's how I got into web design. It was a hobby for me from when I was little. Just realizing I didn't actually answer your question.
No, that's fine. I love the stories. So you were playing on the computers, and then you got into web design. What specific, I guess, instruction did you go through for your web design?
It was very much self-taught. I remember I was on a trip to Las Vegas, And I was looking around Las Vegas. This had to be in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking around and all the billboards were different. Nobody had their phone number like you used to have back in the day.
Really?
Companies would have a giant billboard with their phone numbers. Call us to get into this club, and so on and so forth. Everybody had their Facebook page. Come check out our Facebook page. And I was just looking at that going, that is insane. And I had just signed up to Facebook. It was still relatively new. They had only opened it up to the public in the US for not that long, maybe less than a year at this point.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was not available in the US for all that long. And everybody was Facebook, Facebook, Facebook. And that was kind of like a light bulb to me that said, you know what, there's something that's happening right now. Pay attention to this sign kind of thing. And that's when I really started to study digital marketing. And obviously with digital marketing, a website is a cornerstone of that. So I started to teach myself HTML. I remember W3 school, I think they called it, to learn coding.
Yeah, I don't know anything about coding, so I'm not going to pretend.
I'm going way back in the day here. This is when we had to, obviously you don't have to do this anymore to build a website. It's much easier process now.
Yeah, that's why we have WordPress.
Exactly. A couple of clicks and it's all done for you. But this was back in the day where I had to learn how to close all those brackets and what all those letters meant. And I was just fascinated by it. And it was like a force that wasn't even me, just something could go here, do this, learn this, do that, learn Facebook, learn Twitter. Pinterest and Instagram weren't around back then. Pinterest might have just started. Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, those were the ones that were really prevalent back then. And I just learned everything I possibly could. And I did that for years. Years and years and years and years and years. And finally, when I had really started to say, okay, I'm ready for someone to pay me to do this. One of my first jobs was believe it or not, to install WordPress, but this was not the one-click install. This was, you had to do some coding in the background, install the files, FTP transfers, lots and lots of techie words that hopefully you will never have to use in your life.
I hope not.
And I think I got paid like $50 for like 3 days of work staring at my computer straight.
Ouch.
And can I tell you, it was one of the best jobs I ever did.
Oh, really?
I loved it. I didn't even know how to do it when I said yes to it. I just said yes, went and learned it, and then did 50 of them.
There you go. So that's how you got your start.
And that was my first official paying gig in the web design business.
Wow.
Got paid basically nothing. I loved it.
But you made it work.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the best part was I was actually in a hotel in Spain.
Really?
I was spending a summer in Europe before I moved here to Italy. And yeah, I was doing that all from a hotel in Spain.
Wow. So, in the movie The Social Network, and about the start of Facebook, coincidentally, and it shows the coders just sitting down and doing what they called coding tears. Was that you? Were you sitting down for hours on end just coding straight?
I still get into that zone sometimes where you're just like code, right. It's not as intense as what they were coding in Facebook.
I thought it would be like one of those, like, you could see the whole eyes and the face just set, and you're like, I'm coding.
But you know what? It's true that when you get into that zone, I don't know if you remember the one scene where he's like, you can't talk to them. They're coding. Like, just leave them alone.
Yeah.
You get into that zone. And my husband will even sometimes try and talk to me or say words. And I'm just like, I can't, you don't exist right now. I need to work on this. I need to finish this and get this page up and running. And it requires me paying attention, because coding, there's so many little pieces to it. And literally, if you miss one tiny slash mark or bracket, the whole page might not work.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would say it's like that with me with my writing. When I'm working on a writing project like I was last night, my wife came in and said, I need your opinion on something. And we were talking and I understood where she was going, but I'm like, okay, go ahead and do that. She kind of looked at me like, well, that was simple. I'm like, well, I'm still in that mindset. And I point to upstairs. And she goes, oh.
I'm not actually here right now.
Like, I understand what you're saying. I approve of it. Can I go back to what I was doing now? So, anyway.
The zone of genius.
Yeah, zone of genius. There we go.
Yeah.
A lot of people use that. In fact, my last interview with Hope Savara, she talked about the zone of genius.
Who was it that wrote the book? Now it's blank. I'm coming to a blank on it.
I've heard, and I mentioned this in that episode too. Josh Steinley mentions it. Simon Sinek says something to that effect as well. That once you find your why, once you get all those circles in your Venn diagram to overlap, that's your zone of genius.
There's a book I'm going to send you later. It's totally, the name of it is just totally out of my head right now, but it'll come to me probably at 3 a.m.
Okay. There we go. So now when did you officially transition full-time into web design?
Oh, that's a funny story.
Oh, great. Stories are welcome. Come on.
I was working at that previously mentioned a gelato shop, and it's not that it was a bad job or I was working for horrible people or I didn't love what I did. I enjoyed it. I did. It was a good job. It paid well. I was happy. I had great hours. I could still go to the beach. I had met my husband. We had just moved in together, and we were living together, and he was working during the day, and obviously gelato shop in Italy, that's like a big nighttime thing. So I was working at night, and when you're working late hours in your early 20s, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, 21, 22 years old, you're forced to stay out until 1, 2 in the morning working. It's the perfect little, lifestyle for you when you're in your 20s. As you approach 30, that becomes another story. Yeah. So I was 29 at the time, and I was really starting to feel that working nights just wasn't for me anymore. And again, my husband and I had just moved in together. He was about to propose. I kind of knew he was going to propose, kind of thing. We were living with my mother-in-law because it's southern Italy, and I just felt all this pressure on me. Trying to do this side thing in the morning, working till 3 a.m, not seeing my husband to be my boyfriend at the time. And he came home one day, and I was sobbing. And when I say sobbing, I was in tears. I was completely just distraught. He was worried when he walked in the room, like, what's wrong? What happened? Thinking some horrible, tragic accident had happened. And I was like, I don't want to go back to work today. Please don't make me go back. And he's just looking at me like, she's probably a crazy person. I'm about to marry a crazy person. But just looking at me, and his response was just like, so don't go back if you don't want to. No one's sitting there holding a gun to your head saying you have to go to work. I was very, very fortunate that, we were supported. And yes, I believe that I love working, and I do believe, about contributing to the household. But it was a situation of I didn't have to work. And that thought had never even popped into my head, the idea that I didn't have to go to work. And so after I cleaned my face and stopped the ugly crying, we had a conversation. And I said, I really, this web thing, it's not bringing much. It's only bringing, a few $100s a month, euro a month, but it's still something. We don't have massive bills. We don't have huge debts. Luckily, I really want to see what I can do with this. And so I went in the next couple of days, finally found the courage to quit. That was nerve-wracking enough for me. And I did. I quit my job, and my husband asked me to marry him a few days later. I said yes, obviously.
Okay, good.
And I started on this new life. And I honestly don't remember the beginning months. I just remember that social network, being glued to my computer, looking for clients, trying to get clients, taking whatever jobs came my way. But soon enough, I think it took me about 6 months to really build it up to this big, beautiful, amazing business that I was doing full time for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I lost all my clients.
Oh no. Oh no.
Not for anything that had to do with me, but I had these beautiful monthly contracts, and one of them, her business was bought out, which was amazing success. So she did really well. Another one had sudden health issues and had to shut down his website. And I was left with one other client who was in a startup and didn't get a startup funding that he was hoping for.
Oh no.
So it was in the space of like 3 weeks, just bam, no more clients. And it was the same situation though, but it really taught myself that, you know what, it's okay if you lose all your clients at once. Just go find some more.
Mm-hmm.
There's always more people to help.
Yeah. And so do you have, people call it a funnel or a pipeline. Do you have a system like that set up to find new ones?
6 years later, I have a beautiful system set up. I have lots of different programs. I have a monthly membership program to help female entrepreneurs with their websites and getting started. Mm-hmm. I do one-to-one services. I have a course with my business partner in the UK. And so I have lots of different, I've learned to diversify my income a little bit, so that I'm not reliant on just one thing. Business 101.
Sure. Yeah, learned that the hard way as well. And so, I was going to ask before you mentioned that 6 months in, the whole thing just evaporated on you. So when you finally got that going again the second time, when was the tipping point for you when you realized, okay, now I'm able to sustain this, or will be able to run pretty well on its own?
Honestly, I think I saw that after the fact.
Yeah. So looking back, could you point to
it never even, I can definitely see this was about a year after that point. Mm-hmm. So it was about 1.5 years into my business full time. And I was just getting so many referrals from people and so many requests from people. Like I had built a little network out there for myself. I had testimonials. I had a portfolio. I had things to show people. Like there was, as you mentioned, funnels, there were systems. But at no point did my husband come to me and say, "Oh, did you ever think about getting another job?" Or someone from where I live, it's a very tourist area, so there's lots of hotels, and they're always looking for people who speak English. So I get offers at least twice a year to go and work in someone's hotel.
Oh, wow.
And we just laugh at them. Like, no. Should I think about it? No. I'm going to go work 40, 80 hours a week, and I can be at home with the puppies.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah. It's odd. Like they'll offer what sounds like a good idea or a good deal, but then you realize how much stress goes with the money.
I had a slightly weird moment a couple weeks ago, in that I went to a client's quote unquote office. Mm-hmm. It was his office, but it's not like I was going there to work in the office. I was just going there to meet with him because he's so busy. So to try and sit him down and actually get the information I need out of him, it's not going to happen in a single meeting. Like if I'm there near him and I can catch him free for 5 minutes, I can get the things that I need from him to work on his website. So I woke up one morning and all of a sudden I noticed I'm getting dressed, put makeup on, getting the house ready for the day, packing up my little office briefcase. Mm-hmm. And I had this weird moment like, I'm going to work. Something I have not done in almost 7 years now.
Wow. Just like a weird out-of-body experience.
It was crazy. Can I tell you? It felt like someone else's life. It didn't. It did not feel like anything familiar to me, even though obviously from the time I was 14 until the time I was 29, I was working in some form of office or business. Mm-hmm. So for the majority of my working life, I have done this. And then just now to do it again was like, wow.
So your normal morning doesn't consist of, getting ready to leave the house.
No, my normal morning consists of getting the dogs ready to take a walk to the market and get our veggies for the day.
Wow, nice.
That's how to leave the house. There's no traffic. There's no cars involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, That's something I'm looking forward to. San Antonio traffic. I mean, it's not like New York or Chicago or LA, but I mean, it's still big city traffic. If you don't hit it right, you could be waiting for an extra half hour, 45 minutes, an hour. And I'm looking forward to when I don't really have to accommodate that in my schedule. I can just,
I can remember.
Yeah, get up and start taking care of the work that I want to take care of. So anyway.
Whole different life.
Would you like to be a guest on the Career Challenges podcast? Visit careerchallengespodcast.com to find out how. And while you're there, listen to all available episodes and subscribe through Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and CastBox. More outlets are coming soon. The Career Challenges podcast is produced by me, Kyle Weckerly, and I'm a certified ghostwriter. A little bit more about that. I work almost exclusively with business authors. I've worked with authors who are coaches, consultants, mentors, speakers, some high-ticket salespeople, C-level executives, and of course, business owners. My authors have worked for USAA, Vistage, Booz Allen Hamilton, Austin Technology Council, and the John Maxwell team. They want to write a book, and they want that book to help them expand their business. See, with a book in hand, they're able to market their expertise, or secure more speaking gigs, or promote their company, or all three, or maybe even more than that. They're not out to write a bestseller, though that would be nice. Instead, they have years of knowledge and experience, and sorting it out will be no easy task. More importantly, they want all that knowledge and experience to be an engaging read. To learn more about how you can become an author, visit WeckerlyWriter.com. That's WeckerlyWriter.com and schedule a consultation today. And now, back to the Career Challenges podcast. Yeah. So now you're doing your web design full time from home. Is it still just you in your business?
I have, I think all in total, there's about, with the different areas, people helping me with my funnel and consultants and coaches and mentors and accountants. There's about 6 other people besides myself helping with the business.
Okay.
I'm the one who's here every day.
Yeah, of course.
I'm the one who's here. I've got my little schedule for the week, my time batching. If you're thinking about working from home, you'll need time batching.
Yes.
Can't live without it.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little team coming in, and they help me with different things. I have someone who helps me with my Pinterest. I have someone who helps me specifically with lead generation. Mm-hmm. I have someone, another kind of mentor coach, who is also a strategist. That's her primary structure. And that's really where I say, hey, look, I want to do this crazy thing. Will it actually work? Wow. Can you look at it before I start investing all these hours of money and everything else into it?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Sorry, are all these people in Italy as well, or are they all across the world too?
No. A couple of them are in the UK. Mm-hmm. One of them is in Switzerland, but she's originally from Greece. We have a lot of expats over here moving around as well. A couple of people who assist me with client work, they're also expats. So they're from the US, but they're bouncing around Europe. Mm-hmm. My accountant is, however, Italian. I do have one Italian in the group.
Good. So, so if somebody trying to get to where you are, what advice would you give them?
It's not as big a deal as you think it is. It's a lot easier, especially today, to get things done. Mm-hmm. I should say, let me rephrase that. It's not that it's not as big a deal. It's that it is a lot easier. Yeah. There are so many free services out there. I have a lot of people coming to me and saying, I can't afford a website and I can't afford this. And I said, listen, if you've got $10 a month, you can run your entire business. Mm-hmm. Everything you need. Really? And get it all set up. Mm-hmm. You really don't want to spend money on learning how to do things. There are so many free tutorials on YouTube right now. Mm-hmm. You don't even need it.
Definitely.
Obviously, getting support and getting help, there's a difference between doing everything yourself for free and a difference between paying someone and getting support. But somebody who really is, if that's the thing that's stopping you from starting your business, it's so much easier to do now than it used to be. You've got so many resources out there. I offer a free website review to anyone who has a website or is thinking about doing a website. And that's one of the things that I think shocks them the most is, they want to do all these crazy complicated things. And then I'll show them a really quick, simple way to get it done for them. And within days, bam, it's actually happened.
Wow. That's amazing. Cool.
I have to remind myself of that sometimes too.
So, I mean, what all would somebody need really to get started at, I guess, like some tangible steps?
Definitely is getting really clear about what you're offering. So even if you're not entirely sure what you want your business to be or what you want it to do or passive, non-passive services, so on and so forth, if you at least pick an area. I really want to help people with their dogs. I'm passionate about animals. I believe everyone should adopt. I really want to help people to do that. Great. Definitely get clear. It doesn't matter what your topic is. Just make sure that you're really clear on what it actually is.
Definitely.
The next thing you want to do is definitely speak to people. And in order to do that, you do need a website, and you do also need some sort of calendar so that people can speak to you. Yeah. I always recommend for people, even if you're not sure what you want your website to be, blogging, not blogging, podcast, whatever makes you happy, that's fine. But you can literally get your website started for about $10. I have a link to an article on my blog that shows you exactly how to get started. $10, your website's up and running in a couple hours. And literally just make the call to action. Book a call. Go sign up on Calendly. It's completely free. Tell it when you want people to talk to you. Calendly's great. I started with Calendly. It's absolutely amazing. It just click a button, sends them an email, add a Zoom link in there. Zoom is a free service that you can use that lets you do video calls. You can access it from anywhere, your phone, your computer. You can share screens. I love it because I can actually take over your screen and work on your website for you.
I haven't done that yet with a client, but now that I know that.
It's good stuff. And just get out there and talk to people. Offer a free whatever, a free dog adoption session. Anything that you're going to want to know about raising a puppy, because it's not as easy to raise a puppy as one might think. I have two.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. And just really listen to them, really get their feedback, because that's going to help you design your business. That's going to help show you what you need to do next. Do you need a membership? Do you need a podcast? Do you need to create a course? Do you need a blog with affiliate links? Like, what is the information that people are out there looking for? And how can you best serve them? And that'll help you move along the way. Once you've really got that, that's, I think, the time to start saying, listen, I need a strategist. I need someone to help me with the tech stuff. I need a VA. I need to really get other eyes in here, seeing what I'm seeing and helping me put the pieces of the puzzle together.
Awesome. So you're, you do that. You do have some, I guess, training materials and a little bit of coaching stuff out there for people wanting to get into web design. What else do you do besides that?
I do the actual web design for people on occasion. I can't say that designing websites, I take on, I'm not going to sit here and say that I take on 20 websites a day anymore. Because it's not where my business is at anymore. Our business is naturally going to evolve. They always say, what is it that when those who can't do teach, so on and so forth, but once you get to like the end of your business, you get into more of a teaching role kind of situation. So once I've really learned what I wanted to do, I still do websites. In fact, I'm finishing a couple this week for some of my clients. But I really love helping people with their marketing. This morning, I helped one of my clients set up a funnel. She had no idea we even needed this funnel. She just got me on the phone. She's like, we're going to do a Facebook ad. Now I need a funnel. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I got you. 2 hours, whole funnel set up. There's some editing of copy that needs to happen, but it's there. It's ready to go. Wow. So definitely helping people with their marketing and really using their websites to their fullest potential. A website can do so much for you.
Mm-hmm.
My whole business is done with my website, and it's so wonderful. Just not having to send those follow-up emails anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
scheduling appointments. That was a big one for me.
Yes.
Time zones. Apparently I'm not good with that.
That's okay. I'm not good with them either. And even within the US, I still have to add or subtract if you're going west or north. And I'm like, so.
But then you get people who have daylight. I was going to celebrate, but people who have daylight saving times, people who don't have daylight saving times. I think there's a couple states that don't have daylight saving. Yeah.
I know Arizona doesn't. I don't know of any others.
Arizona, I remember, was one. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
My
My brother lives there, so in the winter he's an hour behind, but in the summer he's 2 hours behind. Or flip-flop. So I'll tell him I'm going to call you at this time. He goes, no, that's my dinner time. I'm like, but it's not. It wasn't last month. He goes, no, now we're on daylight savings time.
The best part is the U.S. changes at a different time in the year than the rest of the world.
Oh, no.
So there's 2 or 3 weeks in March and 2 or 3 weeks in October, whereas there's this weird time travel thing going on where it's not 6 hours, it's 5, but it's only for a couple weeks. And then my nephew actually gained an extra hour of life because he came to visit me at exactly the right times during one of these periods and ended up heading back to the U.S. like with an extra hour of life on. We did the math.
There you go. Wow. I see a business. If you can make that work, like
Right?
method it out, somehow measure that and be able to do this and then that, and then you get your extra hour, you could make a business out of that. So
There's got to be a way. There's something here with this time travel. There's got to be something. I'll have to ask my strategist about this.
So I'm going to write that down here as well on my end, so that when you make it big, I can get a cut of the royalties.
Done.
There we go.
Done. You guys, everyone listening, you're the witnesses.
There we go. There we go. All right. So your business is evolving. You've got all this stuff. You've got your team. What's next for you, Stephanie? What's happening with you?
That is a big question for me. I'm actually very much in a discovery phase of my business. Once again, believe it or not,
Really?
7 years full time in, and I can see the path for my business. I mean, I plan the trajectory path of my business out several years in advance now. I can kind of see the end goal. I did mention before, I also have retreats that I run here in Italy for female entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
We do mastermind vacation weeks. I have a book that was coming out in August. Fingers crossed, everything is ready for August.
Yay!
I have my membership, but it is really about now, not only, obviously, how can I generate more income in my business, but how can I help more people? Mm-hmm. How can I have a bigger impact? And I think for me, really, the future of my business is the membership that I offer.
Awesome.
It really is. There, I can't tell you the results that I've seen from women. They have not only an entire course that will tell them how to do anything that they want with their website and within their business. It also has guides and assistance for them about working from home, running a business, being a mom and a wife and a woman today, trying to do all of these things, dealing with mindset issues, actually taking time to take care of themselves every day, which, believe it or not, I think that's one of the biggest things. If you really want to run a successful business, put aside an hour for yourself every day.
Definitely.
Huge, huge difference for me from when I do that and from when I don't do that. And in addition to all of that, they also I hold office hours every week. So every Thursday afternoon, I open up my Zoom just like this, and any one of my members can hop on, share their screen, ask for help, get whatever assistance they need with their website, whether it be website related. Sometimes it's about fixing their emails. Sometimes it's setting up funnels. Sometimes it's a little, how can I get more traffic to my blog? Yeah. But any questions that they have, they can pop on and they can not only ask me, but we can all sit there and brainstorm together. Any responses, any questions that they may have.
Wow. And that's all within your membership, and they can find that on your website?
The membership is currently closed at the moment, but there is a wait list.
Okay.
Sneak peek, it'll be open in a month or so.
In a month or so. Okay. Yeah, this one should go out into July, early August, just how my schedule's going with the podcasting. So hopefully they'll listen to that and be like, okay, I can go get in line. And where can they find out more about that if they want to get on the wait?
Yes, if you go to egmanagementconsultant.us/waitlist,
Okay.
that will get you onto the wait list. And then from there, obviously, there's plenty of resources. The reason that I open and close my membership like this is so that I can really focus on my members for 5 to 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
And then they also help me see, okay, what's the next phase of this? What is it that new people coming on need to know? And how can I help them even better?
Definitely.
And then we let lots of people in again.
Good. But as a ghostwriter, you mentioned you have a book coming out. Now I have to talk about that because I love books. So what's the book about? What's the title? And then, of course, when do you expect it to drop?
So this should actually be out right around mid-August. I have a hope and a dream and a wish of having it out for August 15th, which is a very important day in Italy. It's Ferragosto. It's a huge holiday in Italy. It's our midsummer. They call it the midsummer holiday, and everyone goes out to the beach, and there's fireworks and there's barbecues, and it's one of our favorite days of the entire year. We take the boat out, and we just stay on the water all day, and I just swim and swim and swim. Oh, it's just
nice.
Wonderful. Yeah. So hopefully for August 15th, the book will be out, and it is called Create, Plan, Be, because really this is about that three phases of starting your business online. Mm-hmm. The first phase is all about creating. You're creating your website, you're creating your idea, you're creating your content. And once that fabulous day actually arrives, that it's all out there, that's when you really start to kick your plan into place. This is when you move into I'm creating my website to I'm blogging every week. I'm putting out podcasts every week. I'm growing my social media. I'm getting seen out there. Things are getting indexed in Google. And in order to do that, you need a good plan. Mm-hmm. None of that stuff happens by accident, literally.
Never does.
You really need to understand a good path for that to happen. And then there becomes this point where you've got your amazing stuff that you've created. You've got this awesome plan that you've created. And then it comes to the point where it's no longer about control. It's no longer about what are the little pieces that need to move around. It's about enjoying it. It's about being in it. Inevitably, you're going to hit some kind of block in your business where it just won't grow. And that's kind of the point to me where it's no longer about working on your business. It's about working on yourself. Wow. And so that's really that last phase, that being phase. And the funny thing that I didn't even realize when I came up with these 3 separate words, and they were 3 separate words, so it's creating, planning, and being, is that when I put them together, it came out to create, plan, be, which is essentially what I did in my life.
That's awesome. I love the wordplay. I love the wordplay.
It was a total accident. I confession right now, it was a total accident. It was non-intentional.
So some things do happen by accident. You just
yes. That one did come together quite nicely. I was reading a book and laying on a beach, and in the book it prompted you to pick your 3 words that really emphasize your business and how you got here and what you do in your business. And those are kind of the 3 words that came to me. It wasn't until after I had put the book together that I even realized that it was essentially about creating an alternate plan for your life, which is really what I had done. Wow. Obviously, the corporate life before, that was what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And then it turned into me saying, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah. I understand. I
want to be crazy and move to Italy.
There you go. And it worked out for you. So the book is full of, I guess, tangible advice, things that people can do, some guidance. Process. And then
the whole process, yeah.
Yeah. And then you have stories in there too, I take it.
Oh yeah. I got some good stories for you though.
Awesome. Well, I love it. I love stories.
I get into some weird metaphors, examples. I let my brain kind of just wander. I'm very much write as I talk, so as you can see. Yep. There's definitely stories in there.
Awesome. And so did you go the self-publishing route for this, or were you able to get a traditional contract?
I went self-publishing. My book for me is really about sharing my story.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about being out there to help people and to show them a path. Again, you want to talk about easy resources to get started. A $5 book about how to get your website up and running and start your business. That to me is a huge, huge resource to someone, especially someone just starting out and someone getting curious about the process. Mm-hmm. I think my business, one of my former business coaches used to get so mad at me. Stephanie, you've got to stop giving. Stop giving to the people.
True. It's kind of counterintuitive from what I've read. So that's awesome.
But for me, my book really is that. So yes, I did go self-publishing. I did not look for a big publisher. It really is out there to be a resource, to be there to help someone. Hopefully it comes across your path and gives you a little piece of the puzzle that maybe you didn't have before in your life and in your business.
Awesome.
And makes you laugh, I hope.
I'm sure it will. If you got me to laugh and I got you to laugh, that's a good sign there. So if somebody is looking for something else that you offer, they can find it at egmanagement.consultant.us?
egmanagementconsultant.us.
.us. So only one dot in there, sorry.
Only one.
All right.
Only one. There's a whole library of free videos. I have a beautiful YouTube channel with how-to videos for how-to anything with your website. Mm-hmm. There's a free WordPress guide that you can download. I do offer at this point free website reviews. Mm-hmm. If at some point 5 years in the future you're listening to this and I'm not offering it anymore, I apologize. Mm-hmm. It just means something amazing has happened. But I'm still available to help you in some way, shape, or form. So we have the free website reviews, the WordPress guide, and my social media channels. You can follow me. You want to really laugh, come follow me on Instagram for a little bit. I've got some great stories on there.
I will.
All the crazy things that I do here in Italy. All the different beaches that I go to. Silly things my dogs do.
Definitely going to want to look at the beaches. Been a while since I've been to a good beach.
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah. Well, we've got the Gulf Coast down here, and it's all right. But I mean, I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm like, those are beaches. Those are beaches.
I think my favorite beach besides where I live, if you look up the Coast of the Gods, Tropea, Italy, you'll get an idea. That's where I live. That's the beach I go to every week. I'm not going to say every day, but every week I go to that beach. The only other beach that I've loved as much as this one, Mexico came close, but I have to give it to the Phi Phi Islands in Thailand.
Wow.
Gorgeous beach. Wow. Have you ever seen the movie The Beach with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, parts of it, yeah.
That's the beach. That's where the private beach is. Yeah.
Awesome.
Gorgeous.
Well, I need to start visiting more beaches, and then we can compare. That's important here. That's what
you hadn't noticed. I really, really like beaches.
Yes, definitely. All right. Well, was there anything else you wanted to mention while we still have some time?
No, that's it. I'd love if anybody has questions, they can definitely reach out. I'm always happy to help. Mm-hmm. Always. I'm pretty much, I think at this point with my YouTube channel, if you have a question, I have a video for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie LaTorre, for joining me on the Career Challenges podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was fun chatting with you today.
Oh, it was a blast. Thank you for listening to the Career Challenges podcast. Visit careerchallengespodcast.com to listen to more episodes and subscribe. And don't forget to schedule a consultation to talk about your book today by visiting weckerlywriter.com. That's WECKERLYWRITER.com.